Boxing truth here. Chris Eubank Jr. is getting disrespected by boxing fans. As you look through the comments on his Instagram page, and damn, he's getting absolutely shredded by fans, disrespected, being called a clown, a pussy, cherry picker, only fights British bombs, domestic level fighter, all types of shit. And this is the new age with fighters now. They're more criticized than ever before. Nowadays, a boxing fan can simply just send a message or a comment and say all types of disrespectful shit. Back in the old days, you couldn't get in touch with a fighter. You had to pretty much write out a letter and send out a letter to a fighter to call him a cherry picker so he can get your acknowledgement of a fan calling him a cherry picker. Now, a little just type a message, click of a button, and the fighter sees all that shit. And I know fans are disappointed. I'm disappointed. Another British level fight. No progression in Eubank Jr.'s career. And it's all English's fault. It's all Junior's father's to blame. His father is to blame for all this bullshit. He's the one that's controlling Junior's career. He's managing and directing his path. And he's been doing a shit job, costing major paydays and making Junior look like a chump. And a guy that doesn't want to step up or too scared to step up. But Senior's been protecting Junior and been making some stupid business decisions. And now Junior has been mandated to make a defense of his title, British title, against Tommy Langford, a Frank Warren promoted fighter. Now, the fans that have disrespected Junior, most likely a majority of them are uneducated fans who probably never watched Tommy Langford fight or even seen any footage of him. I mean, he's no world beater. He's still improving at the top level. But he is the most highly regarded fighter Junior has fought at the domestic level. He's 17-0, undefeated. He's not much of a puncher, but he's very highly rated by respected ratings systems like BoxRec. He's within the top 20, so he's considered a top 20 middleweight. He's rated as high as number 2 by the WBO. He's just right on the verge of a title shot. And Langford could have opted to pursue a mandatory position within the WBO. He's rated very high by the organization. You can probably thank Frank Warren, due to his close ties with WBO, for why Langford's rated so high. But he could have opted to fight Curtisi for the number 1 slot, mandatory position, but he took a fight with Junior. Domestic level fight. Junior's a big name, big following, the commercial appeal he brings, and the type of win and fight Langford needs to get his name out there. And Langford is better than some of the recent opponents of Junior's career. He's a lot better than Duran. He's a lot better than... he's a much more difficult style compared to Nick Blackwell. Blackwell's tough and durable, but he was tailor-made for Eubank Jr. That was a fight designed to make Junior look very good, and that's exactly what happened. But this fight, Langford brings in a different dimension, different style, and he's pretty much going to provide a similar test, not as tricky, not as slick, but it could be a similar test compared to Billy Joe Saunders and how Junior had difficulties dealing with Saunders' style in the first half of that fight a couple of years ago. Langford is not as slick or as athletic as Saunders. He's also not a southpaw. He's also not as fast as Saunders, but he's a guy that could create some memories from some of the difficulties Junior had in his fight with Saunders. Now Langford, he's lanky, he's tall, He throws a lot of punches. He's in good condition. He's confident. He's young. He's hungry. He wants his opportunity when he could have opted for bigger opportunities, or at least get closer to a world title shot. He leads with the jab. He's defensively responsible. He's got okay boxing fundamentals. It's not going to be as easy as a fight as people will think. Junior will have to make adjustments, and he won't be having a guy that's simply going to just come at him straightforward with no head movement. This guy is going to provide different dimensions. He's also sparred with him in the past, so Langford says he knows the strengths and weaknesses of Junior. It will probably be a pretty damn good fight. I mean, Langford throws a lot of punches. He doesn't do too much running. He moves his head. He leads from the jab, and I think it's going to be a pretty good fight for as long as it lasts. Now, of course, I favor Junior. While Langford could provide some stylistic difficulties, Junior's a lot faster, a lot stronger, much more talented physically. He's just a better athlete. He's more experienced. He's fought better competition. And I believe he's drastically improved from the fight he had with Billy Joe Saunders when they fought each other when they were both at British level. But I think Eubank Jr.'s improved, and he's going to prove it with this fight as he faces a guy that's going to provide some similar dimensions compared to what Saunders brought. Just not as slick, not as fast. And it will be a decent test for Junior. And it will also make him one of the most active fighters of the year. This is going to be his third fight. And even though people are hating on it and shitting on Junior, disrespecting him, all y'all motherfuckers going to tune in. Because I know I'm going to tune in. Because I like watching Junior fight. He's one of the most exciting fighters in boxing. The guy comes to fight. He entertains. So I'm definitely going to tune in. Even though I am disappointed. He's fighting another domestic level fight. But, he gets this win. He can still be in position for big fights. He still has potential. And he can still be able to get those big fights. It's just got to hope that Senior will stop being delusional, stop fucking up his son's career, and will come to his senses and finally make a big fight for his son. Now, Senior is annoying the shit out of me. Talking shit on social media, going back and forth with Billy Joe Saunders, trying to negotiate a fight on social media with Saunders, knowing full damn well his son was going to take the fight with Langford. And Saunders is just as delusional as well. Wants an 80-20 split for the rematch? That ain't going to fucking happen. I wouldn't even agree to that. Why should Junior agree to that? Yeah, even though Saunders is the champion who hasn't done shit since he won it, and even though he has an official victory over Junior, it's Junior's career that's more popping right now compared to Saunders. Junior has more of a following. He's a bigger name. He's a bigger draw compared to Saunders. I mean, what Eubank Jr. said about Saunders is true. I mean, Saunders is boring. He's not particularly entertaining to watch. Fight. Just look at Saunders' last fight. Bored me to death. He talks a lot of shit. He's going to need that since his fights are not very entertaining. He's not the most entertaining fighter to watch, but at least he has that going for him. He's got a little personality. He talks a little shit. Sometimes a little too much. And now he's been looked as a ducker and a chump who's ducking and dodging everybody, even gatekeepers. But it just seems like that rematch is never going to happen. Too many egos, too many delusional people in both guys' camps. 80-20 splits when Junior's a bigger name, a bigger draw than you. And Junior wants 50-50 when Saunders holds a title and he has a win over you. So there's got to be a compromise. 80-20 is not going to happen. Neither is 50-50 since Saunders has such a big ego, and he feels he's earned a right to a bigger percentage, even though he's not a bigger draw than Junior. But 60-40, I say is fair. 55-45, it's a stretch, but I would even think that's fair. But 60-40 in Saunders' favor for the rematch. But at the end of the day, Junior's career is more popping than Billy Joe Saunders, who's done nothing ever since winning that strap. Hasn't even been active. Hasn't taken advantage of winning a world title. Has been ducking big fights. Has been pulling out of fights. Probably even cost an opportunity for a Canelo fight for not opting to fight on his undercard on September 17th. Still no announcement on his next fight. Maybe he might fight on the undercard of the Fury-Klitschko rematch, which I'm hearing is the issue's about to get resolved. Maybe that fight's finally going to happen. But of course, the fans are disappointed in both guys' careers. Both guys are looking like chumps, Saunders and Eubank Jr. But at least Jr. is fighting. At least he's staying active. And even though a lot of fans are shitting on his next fight, disrespecting him, y'all definitely going to tune in, just like I will. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.